Chapter 1 Countdown to Freedom. Sarah stood in front of her bedroom mirror, staring at her reflection. She was 17 years old, just 1 year away from her 18th birthday, the day she would finally be free from her controlling father, Don. Sarah had always counted down the days until her 18th birthday. She had dreamed of leaving her small town and moving to the big city, where she could finally be herself and live her life on her own terms. Don had always been a strict and controlling father. He had never let Sarah do anything she wanted to do, and he always had to know where she was and what she was doing. Sarah had always resented her father's control, and she couldn't wait to escape his grasp. Sarah's birthday was just a few weeks away, and she was already making plans for her future. She had applied to several colleges in the city, and she had even started looking for apartments. She couldn't wait to start a new chapter in her life, a chapter without Don's controlling presence. Chapter 2 A Birthday Betrayal. The day of Sarah's 18th birthday finally arrived, but it was not the day she had been hoping for. Don had planned a surprise party for Sarah, but she didn't want a party. She just wanted to be alone and celebrate her freedom. Sarah was so disappointed that she decided to go to her room and lock the door. She didn't want to see anyone, especially her father. Don came knocking on Sarah's door a few hours later. He told her that the party was over and that he was ready to take her out for dinner. Sarah reluctantly agreed to go out with her father, but she was still feeling very upset. Don took Sarah to a nice restaurant in town, but she wasn't in the mood for a celebration. She just wanted to go home and be alone. After dinner, Don drove Sarah home. When they got home, Don told Sarah that he had one more surprise for her. He led her down to the basement, where he had set up a small party room. Sarah was furious. She didn't want a party, and she didn't want to be in the basement. She tried to run away, but Don caught her and dragged her back into the room. Don locked the door to the basement and told Sarah that she wasn't going anywhere. He said that she was going to stay in the basement until she learned to obey him. Sarah was terrified. She didn't know what Don was going to do to her, but she knew that it wasn't going to be anything good. Chapter 3 A prisoner in her own home. Sarah was trapped in the basement for weeks. Don only came down to bring her food and water, and he never spoke to her. Sarah was lonely and scared. She didn't know how long she would be trapped in the basement, or what Don was going to do to her. Sarah started to lose hope. She thought that she would never escape from the basement, and that she would be Don's prisoner forever. But then, one day, Sarah heard a noise from upstairs. She listened closely, and she realized that it was the sound of someone breaking in. Sarah was so excited. She hoped that whoever it was would rescue her from the basement. She waited for the person to come down to the basement, and when they did, she was shocked to see who it was. It was her best friend, Emily. Emily had always been there for Sarah, and she was determined to help her escape from the basement. Emily had been worried about Sarah when she hadn't seen her in weeks. She had tried to contact Sarah, but she hadn't been able to get in touch with her. So, Emily decided to go to Sarah's house and see if she was there. She was shocked to find Sarah locked in the basement, but she was determined to get her out. Emily helped Sarah escape from the basement, and they ran away together. Chapter 4 A New Beginning. Sarah and Emily went to the police and reported Don for kidnapping. Don was arrested and charged with a crime. Sarah was finally free from her father's control. She was able to move away to the city and start her new life. Sarah never forgot what Don had done to her, but she was able to forgive him. She knew that he was a sick man, and that he didn't know what he was doing. Sarah was grateful for Emily for helping her escape from the basement. She knew that she would never have been able to do it without her. Sarah and Emily stayed friends for many years. They were always there for each other, no